Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. From Homestead Media, this is HHS In Depth.
Last year was just the length of like a regular band camp, so we finally get to add more detail to the show.
After a year away from competitions due to the pandemic, Spartan Alliance is back this year, and we'll give you a look at this year's show.
Plus, a few weeks ago, seniors moved out of the community room into the cafe Annex for lunch each day. Find out why and if that change is permanent for the year. Those stories and more straight ahead. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nada the Hook.
And I'm Cora Shaw, and Nada, I am so excited for Halloween this weekend.
I know, I love the spooky season.
It is that time of the year where a familiar sound is back across our state's school, including right here at Homestead. Last year, marching bands across the country had to pause their normal seasons because of the circumstances of COVID. But this year, Homestead's marching band is back to their usual Spartan Alliance sparkle, as competitions are in full swing again.
This year's show theme is This is Sparta, and essentially it's like Spartans training for battle and going into battle, and there's failings at the start of the show and throughout the show, so that's like characteristic of the Spartan culture.
This show was something we were planning on doing last year, and we felt with how interesting the show was, how competitive it is, the depth of the show, that we wanted to save it for a true full season.
The biggest setback this year is making up for their lost season last year. Despite the road bumps, everybody is putting in the effort to create a great show.
There was a bit of a learning curve this year for our freshman students, which is something that happens every year, just getting used to doing the activity. For our sophomore musicians, doing something that was a bit more complicated than what we did this past year, getting used to doing a full season, really trying to strive for a high achievement level and high excellence.
Last year was just the length of like a regular band camp, so we finally get to add more detail to the show, do choreography, which was my favorite part when I was a marcher. Getting to perform, that's the best part, honestly.
Tomorrow, Spartan Alliance is heading out to ISMA Semi-State at Ben Davis, where they will compete for a spot at ISMA Open Class State Finals for next week. Good luck to them in Indy tomorrow.
A few weeks ago, seniors were notified that they would no longer be eating in the community room and were moved back to the cafe Annex portion of the cafeteria. To learn more about the reasoning behind this new change, here's HHS In-Depth reporter Luke Gayer.
A couple of weeks ago, the seniors were moved from the community room back to the main cafeteria without much of an explanation. Mr. Zvers explained why this change occurred and some of the difficulties that staff experienced with lunch being split between two rooms.
Yeah, the seats, we felt we were comfortable enough to make the switch for the distancing. We also had some staffing issues too, obviously, but there still has to be some supervision there, so I think we can spread ourselves around better if we're all in the same place.
Ultimately, all students will continue to remain in the cafeteria for lunch, and the annex will be shut down.
I think if anything, it would continue to go back to the way it was. So eventually the goal is to close the annex and then have everybody in the main room.
However, there are plans to create different lunch locations for seniors and those in senior experience once construction finishes on Homestead.
Of course, with the new building project, we talked about there'll be some different spaces in there too. So maybe the seniors will have a dedicated space. We're having a senior experience kind of cafe area upstairs in the second floor of the new wing, so some kids could eat there too, and to be just all in one class, I think that was kind of like a privilege.
Although some seniors will miss the freedom of having their own lunchroom, no matter what your opinion is on this change, the health and safety of students continues to remain an important concern for the school administration in regards to COVID-19. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Luke Gayer.
Halloween weekend is here, and the temps are keeping their Midwestern cool. If you're planning on attending any Halloween parties tonight, make sure to pack an umbrella, as the evening will stay wet all night long. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back later to let you know how the weather will look for tonight and this weekend ahead. October is National Bullying Prevention Month. Did you know that 1 out of every 5 students reports being bullied at school? 2 out of every 5 students will be cyberbullied before they graduate high school. 3 out of every 5 students who identify as LGBTQ report being bullied. And 1 out of every 3 students with a disability reports being bullied. Students who experience bullying are at an increased risk for depression, anxiety, sleep difficulties, lower academic achievement, and dropping out of school. If you or someone you know is getting bullied, reach out to a parent, teacher, counselor, or trusted adult. If someone is cyberbullying you, don't respond. Block them and report the cyberbullying to the social media site and a trusted adult. Although national rates of bullying have decreased, there is still work to be done to make sure everyone feels safe at Homestead. Homestead High School's goal is to build a stronger sense of belonging, community, and acceptance of all students, regardless of their differences. If you see something, say something. Let's put an end to bullying at Homestead.
You're watching HHS In Depth with Nada DeHook and Cora Shaw.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth. The Homestead Interact Club would like to thank you for your participation in Purple Pinky Day 2021. Thanks to the generosity of Homestead students and staff, $185 was raised last Friday. That amount will be matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which means a total of $555 will be donated to Rotary International to provide polio vaccines to those in need.
Attention travelers to Iceland in June of 2022. There will be an important mandatory meeting on Monday, November 1st at 6 p.m. in room 208. Please contact Mrs. B if you are unable to attend.
Need help filling out the FAFSA? College Goals Sunday takes place on November 7th at Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne from 2 to 4 p.m. This event is for all seniors planning to go to college. You do not need to be going to Ivy Tech to attend this event. Bring your driver's license, social security number, and 2020 tax information, and your family will be able to sit down with a financial aid representative and completely fill out the FAFSA on this day.
Our girls soccer and girls cross country teams are headed to state this weekend. If you want to go and cheer on the Spartans, you must purchase tickets online to both events. Visit the Indiana High School Athletic Association website at ihsaa.org for more information.
Lost and found items are located on the tables outside of the discipline office in the 1012 building. See Mrs. Godfrey in discipline for valuable items such as jewelry, keys, electronics, and designer clothes. All items not picked up by the end of the day today will be donated.
And now here is a look at all the clubs meeting over the next week at Homestead. Are you interested in current events? Do you enjoy discussing politics? Go to Young Progressives today from 2:45 to 3:30 in room 614, Mrs. Smith's room. All political viewpoints are welcome and snacks will be provided. Get out to the film club after school today in room 113 for snacks and spooky movies. Best Buddies will meet after school today in room 937 for a spooky scavenger hunt. Please reach out to Mrs. Hoffer if you have any questions.
One Homestead student recently competed in the Morgan Grand Nationals, an esteemed equestrian competition. To learn more about Kate Foutch and her horse riding adventures, here's HHS In-Depth reporter Michelle Obiama.
A multitude of students explore their interests outside of the walls of Homestead. One Spartan, Kate Foutch, has found her niche as an equestrian and is taking her passions to new heights.
My mom had horses growing up, so that was definitely an influence. And then my little sister wanted to ride horses when she was really young, so I kind of got into it when she sparked interest. So I ride saddle seat and I drive my horse, so I don't race, I don't jump, I don't do dressage. It's kind of like dressage, but it's kind of different.
After months of training, earlier this month, Kate got the chance to go to Oklahoma City to compete in the Grand Nationals and World Championship Morgan Horse Show.
Grand Nationals is structured in a kind of two-class way. So you enter it in a Grand National class and then you go back and compete in a World Championship class. For me, the most exciting part of Grand National was the last 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, where they have really exciting classes like open park harness and open park saddle, which is basically like when the horses pick up their feet really high.
The most rewarding thing about horse riding for Kate are the relationships that she fosters along the way.
The best part about horseback riding is the community that comes with it. Your barn family, the community that you build with that, and just kind of being able to experience like horses and nature.
Kate placed third in the Junior Exhibitor Pleasure Driving 14-17 World Championship. Kate hopes to continue her equestrian journey all throughout high school. Reporting for HHS In-Depth, I'm Michelle Obioma.
Thank you, Michelle. You've probably noticed that a lot of seniors leave school earlier or come in later than other students. To learn more about what senior experience is and what students do in their extra time, here's HHS in-depth reporter Jensen Clegg.
Many seniors at Homestead have earned enough credits to take a minimal number of classes, giving them much more free time in their schedule. With senior experience, students go by a blocked schedule similar to one they may see in college.
Senior experience is opportunity available for seniors here at Homestead to take dual credit classes and basically take college classes on a collegiate schedule. Collegiate schedule allows them to participate in opportunities like internship or have jobs outside of school and get some of those hours during the school day as well.
Most senior experience students at Homestead take advantage of their spare time by studying or working to save money for college.
So usually in my free time, I either go home or go to work. When I go home, I work on my homework, and I usually go to work a majority of my time, so it's nice because I can make some extra money.
By allowing students to create their own schedules, senior experience gives students the opportunity to explore possibilities for the future and get an idea of what a college schedule may be like. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Jensen Clegg.
Thanks, Jensen. If you want to learn more about senior experience, you can see your counselor or contact Mrs. Lackland at the email shown here.
A popular event at Homestead is coming back after a year away due to the pandemic, and HHS In-Depth reporter Nisha Lalauria is here to tell you about it and what you can do to get involved.
Taste of Homestead is a popular event here at Homestead, but last year it did not take place due to COVID-19. However, this year Homestead's foreign language department is hopeful of it happening.
Taste of Homestead is an annual event that we started back in 2015, and what it is students form groups, and once they have a group, each group will pick a country they want to represent. They'll create a poster about that country, but the real highlight of the night is that students make food from that country.
Starting in 2017 with about 12 groups, Taste of Homestead has grown to be a popular event at Homestead, with now more than 50 groups of students taking part in this event.
So if you come to Taste of Homestead, you get to walk around the cafeteria, going from booth to booth for an hour or so and getting little appetizer-sized portions of food from 5 or 6 different continents. So it's really grown into something that we're really proud of.
Taste of Homestead usually takes place in early February, but with the variety of concerns, the event will be pushed back a little further in the spring.
We are cautiously optimistic that we're going to be able to have the event this year. Normally we do it in February with Just Because Week, and we work with student government, but this year we've decided to move it back almost a month. Doing it in February was great, but sometimes the weather didn't cooperate, and we really were worried a couple of years that we might have to cancel the event on the day of because of bad weather, so we wanted to move it back to March in hopes that the weather would be better. But also, we hope that as time goes on, COVID continues to get better.
The call-out meeting for the 2022 Taste of Homestead is November 2nd, after school in Mrs. Beckman's room. If you have any questions, email Senor Pieper at the email shown below. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Nisha Lalauria.
Turning to weather now, the Spartan football team is back tonight as they head to Carroll. So what can those going expect out there weather-wise?
Carly Flanagan joins us now to tell us that answer.
Thanks, Nada and Cora. For the weather tonight, it will remain chilly with a high of 48 as the rain will be falling all night. The winds will be pretty high, so definitely consider staying inside and watching your favorite Halloween movies. If you're going to the sectional game against Carroll, bring warm attire as it will not heat up throughout the evening. Looking forward to tomorrow with the girls' soccer state competition. The weather in Indianapolis will be overcast with a high of 57, but don't let that keep you from making the trip to watch the Lady Spartans play for the state title. And for your Halloween forecast, Halloween night unfortunately will be very chilly with a high of 39. There looks to be little to no chance of rain and high winds. May not be the best night to trick or treat, however, during the day it will be pretty sunny with a high of 57. If you plan on trick or treating, you may want to start as early as you can. Will these cold temps remain for the next week? I'll be back with a check of the 7-day forecast.
All right, thank you, Carly.
Next in sports, it's a busy week for Homestead Athletics, and Anthony Gary is in next to break it all down in the Locker Report. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Locker Report. I'm Anthony Gary. This past week, Homestead Athletics saw some joy and some heartbreak. We'll get to those results in a minute. But first, it's time for postseason spotlight. This time featuring the football team as they get set for their sectional game tonight. The football team is getting ready for their sectional game versus Carroll. And with a bye week last week, the team had some time to look back on the regular season.
I think it's been a little bit disappointing. We've been kind of expecting to do better here at Homestead. It's a little bit off in a way, but we're really looking forward to the postseason and facing Carroll again, so there's still a lot of upside.
I mean, so far this season we've been doing good. Things have been pretty well. There were a few losses that I'm not too happy about, but overall it's been a good season.
After what most people consider a disappointing regular season after the success of the past 2 seasons, the team wants to make sure they turn the tide heading into the big game tonight.
I think we did pretty well. There were some areas that we could improve on, and I think we've been working on those every week to get better and be ready for the playoffs.
I would say we're getting right. Our practices so far have been really good. We have a really good game plan, so we just got to go out there and execute.
The postseason goals and expectations obviously start with getting a win on the road as underdogs in a rival stadium, but they expect to do some work beyond getting a win tonight.
I expect us to beat Carroll this week and then take it week by week after that and just go as it comes.
I mean, obviously beat Carroll this week and then go on the next couple of weeks, see what we can do. Trying to get these dubs.
The back-to-back sectional champs look to defend their title tonight and next week. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Anthony Gary. And believe it or not, that was the last postseason spotlight of 2021. But don't worry, the segment will return January 28th with the wrestling team before they enter sectionals. And now switching over to the weekly results, the volleyball team lost in the regional semifinals to a tough McCutcheon team. They ended their season with an 18-12 record. The girls cross-country team had an incredible race last Saturday at the New Haven Semi-State. They tied for first place with Carroll, but ended up losing the tiebreaker to get second place. Addison Canablo came in second place with a ridiculous time of 18-18. Addison is now ranked 6th in the state, and the team has moved up to 9th in the state, heading into the state meet. The boys cross-country team came up just short of qualifying for the state meet with an 8th place finish. Senior Ethan Bates qualified individually for the state finals with a 16th place finish. The girls soccer team won semi-state last Saturday in penalty kicks 3-2. Incredible performances were laid out by Sophia White and Ryan Parrish on defense to pitch a shutout for the 12th time this season. And with that win, the girls soccer team is going to state. They are serious and they are ready to take on every team in Indiana's rival, the Carmel Greyhounds.
Homestead, they fall in overtime in the state finals, but this team has a bright future ahead.
We'll get them. We'll win next year.
We are working on our touches on turf, getting faster, moving the ball quicker.
Be watching a lot of film, and we're going to be moving around some players and trying to change up the play a little bit.
Put the ball in the back of the net and keep them from scoring any goals.
I'm ready to win, ready to get back from 2018.
I think it's just looking back at all the feelings that we had after we lost and just like letting that be a motivation and our fuel to come out and put up a fight.
Really work together as a team and give it our full effort and hopefully bring home a state championship for the first time in school history.
Tomorrow at 4 p.m., the undefeated Homestead Spartans take on the Carmel Greyhounds in Indianapolis. Get out and support them as they look for a rematch from 2018.
Make sure you get out to the game and support Homestead when they take on Carmel. The game is at 4 p.m., which leaves plenty of time for you guys to go to the game and get back for the Halloween festivities. And don't forget, tonight is the football sectional semifinals between Homestead and Carroll at Carroll Field. For the Locker Report, I'm Anthony Gary. Make sure you follow the Locker Report on social media, especially Instagram, for live reports, scores, and more. Have a great weekend. Carly will have a final check of the weather when we come back.
Next week on HHS In Depth, reporter Cole Steinacker informs us about Homestead's upcoming fall play, Lend Me a Tenner. Catch this story and more only on HHS In Depth.
The weather this week will be fairly similar to last week, with temps in the lower 40s and upper 50s. There will be more sun than last week, though, as we leave from the rain streak last week. Expect little to no chance of rain this week, except for next Sunday with a 30% chance of rain. This week's temperature has a high reaching 54 on Saturday and the lowest being 47 on Tuesday. Stay warm and be aware of any spooky temps as we head into the weekend. Nada, Cora, back to you.
All right, thank you, Carly, and thank you for watching today.
Good luck to our football team tonight and our girls soccer and cross country teams at state tomorrow. Have a great weekend, Homestead, and we'll see you back here again next week.